Saturday morning, Plus Sports Special on Plus TV Africa. Welcome on the show. And the rains came down yesterday, yes. My name is Wally Scott. Welcome on the show. And they did come down. Victor Godfrey, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you. I'll call them, it's not showers of blessings. Those are floods of blessings.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was a
Flash floods, they call them.
It was a very wet day in Lagos yesterday.
You know, the guys who do the environmental thing said they are called flash floods. And my question is, if that was a flash, would the main call, uncle? I also wondered.
It's a good thing. It's a good
that
thing
was a flash call.
We missed the call.
Yeah, so
we missed the call.
If we didn't miss that call, how would have happened?
That's very clever.
Okay, now Vice President Yemi Osinbajo had on Monday in Abuja unveiled AFA Sports as the official apparel for Team Nigeria to the games a day before their departure to their training camp in Kisarasu, Japan. However, several videos and pictures showed many officials wearing different attires and sportswear brands. Contingents from other countries, including South Africa, who arrived in Japan at the same time with Nigeria, wherever uniformly dressed. Pictures of Uganda, Italy, and Australia teams arriving for the Olympics all showed them in their official kits. A picture shared by the team after the visit of the Nigerian ambassador to Japan, Abubakar Moriki, in the team's camp showed many of the athletes and officials in different attires, with one of the officials in the picture wearing an Arsenal jersey. Many other videos shared by Nigerian athletes in Japan also showed them in different sportswear like Nike and Adidas. Prior to the Tokyo Games, the AFN and Nigerian Basketball Federation had been enmeshed in kits controversy, while the Shehu Guso-led board of the AFN had signed a deal with Puma to kit Nigerian athletes at major competitions. The sports ministry insisted that Nigeria athletes and officials would not wear those kits at the Olympics. This picture, Victor, is shameful.
It is, actually.
It is very, very shameful. Countries who are not as financially stable as Nigeria, like Uganda, got to Japan, all uniformly wear their kits. Italy got there naturally. Australia got there naturally. That was a Nigerian contingent in Japan. This picture was taken yesterday. This is truly shameful. Now, there's a problem with the Athletics Federation. Shehu Guso is on one side, the ministry is on another side. Shehu Guso struck a deal with Puma, popular Puma, to kit us, and because of the trouble on ground, the AFN said no.
So I think we have had this conversation 1,001 times before, and unfortunately, it seems like a narrative that will continue for a very long time to come. And that is the fact that selfish interests is hindering the progress of sports in Nigeria. Now, one can argue and say, well, does it really matter? The mindset that allowed this to happen will argue and say, does it matter? Does it matter what we wear? As long as the guys do well in the games, that really matter. But you have to understand that in the nature of the games, since the modern look of the Olympics, I would say like the 1920s downwards, people are having uniforms, the opening ceremony being very colorful, and athletes being clad in the designs or the color scheme of their national flag has been a source of pride. Now, if an official Team Nigeria, like you mentioned, even if they wore Nigerian football jerseys of the Nigerian soccer team or basketball team, I can say, okay, well, at least there's a bit of green and white. Somebody wearing an Arsenal Football Club jersey, that is a massive slap to the face, like you mentioned. And of course, different kits, wears. Some of these athletes might have maybe deals with these massive companies, I do not know. But you mentioned something about having Puma. Puma is in fact, top three. Puma, Adidas, and Nike are one of the top. Even Under Armour, it's a very big name. It's a very, very big name in sportswear, in the sportswear industry. You shut that deal down, no problem. What was the alternative? Okay, you have the AFA, like you mentioned. I'm hearing that for the very first time. I'm not saying you're not big, but based on this first outing, the AFA, for me, has let us down because what stopped you from giving us our kits so that at least these athletes will look like they're representing Nigeria. They don't look like as if they're just fans that came for the Olympic Games, in Tokyo.
I think like you've always said on the show, we have a structural problem, no doubt.
Oh, for real?
And there's because we know for one that the Tigers complained at a point that their kits were stuck at the Nigerian ports for 3 months and that the ports officials wanted bribe. And that's why we didn't get the kits out.
You know what amazes me is this. We talk about national pride, and you see other countries that have teams in different various sports. I want to talk about football. Let's leave football for a minute. Let's talk about basketball. The Tigers have represented Nigeria, or they are the official basketball team for Nigeria, right? They did something that has never been done before in history. They beat the United States last week, right? And someone can argue and say, well, that's not like the full strength American team. It doesn't matter. History says we won that match, even if it's by just 1 point. National pride, Nike, or the whole big, massive companies that produce kits abroad or in Europe or North America will not. In fact, it's a matter of pride to kit their national teams.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say fine, we don't have maybe one big sportswear company in Nigeria or in Africa. No problem. The massive ones, let us make them realize the importance. For instance, when Nike took Nigerian kid design football now in 2018 seriously, what happened? They sold out.
We won the best jersey
back to back.
Yeah.
Back to back. 2018 jersey for the World Cup was sold out within minutes. It was released back then in 2018. The recent one that came out in 2020 before the lockdown sold out as well. So that tells you the marketability. So just from a business point of view, we are even losing money. Okay, let's just say we are not selling enough kits and jerseys. Just national pride. It's just a kit. It's a wear, tracksuit. It's not as if you're making body armor bulletproof or swimsuits. It's just something that...
I know in the past that the Olympics,
yeah,
the average, I know for one, I'll call some names now, Versace.
Yes.
About 3 of them. Chanel, like 4 of them actually waited for African countries to do a match past in the Olympics to get new designs.
True that.
Basically to get new designs.
Yes.
And I remember the fashion world actually running wild when our Team Nigeria entourage were coming to the stadium and they went Agbada.
And Gilly. Yeah, that was remarkable. Even to this
day,
very
Agbada and Gilly. And basically, all the designers went home and started doing Agbada's for their female client, and they sold out.
True that.
They actually come to look at African teams at the Olympics to see what new designs they can discover with and it's sad that I don't even think our traditional kits for the match pass is ready yet.
I can assure you.
They don't even have t-shirts yet.
The opening ceremony, I can assure you. In fact, I don't even think we'll even have the entire contingent. In the past, before the lockdown, before COVID, the opening ceremony of the Olympics is something to behold. Minus the beautiful pomp and pageantry of the host nation, the contingents marching out is a wonderful window into the cultures of other countries, the traditional wares. We look at guys from Polynesia, that's the Samoans and the rest of them. You look at people from Europe. So. And it was, like you mentioned, it was a thing of pride when the Nigerian contingent comes out and we have our traditional wares, either it's from the western part of Nigeria or the eastern part of Nigeria or the northern part of Nigeria, because we are so diverse as a country. Now, it's very, very sad when you don't even have the official kit. What makes you think you have what you wear? I'm going to imagine, and I can bet you this, this is a prediction itself. I'll imagine that we would have maybe 1 or 2 individuals waving that small green and white flag and walk out maybe in an all-white tracksuit or an all-green tracksuit. That's the truth. We're not going to have that because we joked about it before we came on air. I said we shouldn't have even gone for this Olympics. Let's wait for the next one. This Olympics, let's just let it slide because there's so much going on.
It's ironic that we are going to spend so much money, taxpayers' money, that I think should have put into agriculture on going to the Olympics.
But here's the thing: there are many rumors and news surfacing about when you say spending money. The money is never put towards the right avenues and right places for us. It's greedy individuals. Why would you have certain delegates from a political aspect of Nigeria go to the Olympics? What does politics and sports have to do together? I mean, there are many stories flying around with this Olympics. And
you can't forget the fact that when Nike first of all made the Super Eagles jerseys, before it came out, the jerseys had leaked on social media.
Yeah.
So it was in the market already. And then the average guy in Yaba will tell you straight, the one you saw on social media is Nike. It was made by Nike. This one, made by Nike. Well, anyhow, it's still Nigeria's jersey. Let's hope that someday Nigerians and the managers of the country will stop embarrassing us. I think it's enough. They have embarrassed us enough. I know a female competition in Mozambique where our female team, the female junior team, were actually had to cut their tracksuits to shorts to play a match.
Oh my God.
Because they said the plane forgot our jerseys or something.
And that's why, you remember a few weeks ago we spoke about athletes that accomplish greatness in the international stage for Nigeria being compensated properly. And you mentioned that it shouldn't be a matter of national pride. Sometimes what they go through, they need to be given a house with the stress that they go through on their own. Many of these athletes pay their own transportation. They pay for their feeding in hotels, no allowances, all playing for their country. Many of them are being owed. For instance, the Tigers that won the FIBA African Championship in 2017, many of them are still owed till today.
True that. Well, okay. Our world number 4, Stefanos Tsitsipas, was knocked out of the Hamburg European Open in the quarterfinals on Friday, despite winning the first set. The top seed ended up losing to Serbia's Filip Krajinovic 6-3, 1-6, 3-6 on clay at the ATP 500 tournament. Tsitsipas, who took world number 1 Novak Djokovic to 5 sets in the final of the French Open, ended up losing in the first round of Wimbledon to Frances Tiafoe of the United States.
Zweiter Satz. Krelovic. 6-1.
Stefanos Tsitsipas. A guest on the show, Shayo Gunsoye, consistently said, of course, he's the new king of clay. That's the man who everybody thought will take over from Rafael Nadal. And he's just lost. Well, these things happen. Mukhail, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Now, let me start with you, Victor.
Okay.
Stefanos Tsitsipas, is this just a minor setback, or this is not the new king of clay?
Well, first of all, I don't think we should even start giving titles new king of clay just yet, because Nadal is still in the game. And yeah, he's not the same.
He's slowing down, though.
Yeah, he wasn't the same guy he was like when he was 19 when he burst onto the scene, but Nadal is still there. That's number one. Number two is
the 3 dragons that are in the game are still very much
top dogs.
So it would be hard. And regardless of, I always say this in sports, regardless of how good you are, there are certain personalities that you come up against and they just have your number.
True that.
So their way of playing just
Exactly.
back to back.
Back.
Eventually,
As a player, I would say he had a very decent career. I mean, it's not even as if he's retired. He's still in the game, but he's not even top 3. Nobody mentions Andy anymore.
That.
So they're looking for that next superstar.
I think the car itself was actually handling quite well, but just a lot of understeer, so I couldn't really attack any corners. Just waiting for the front to grip up, and bit of a weird feeling, to be honest, to drive, because I don't think it was setup or front wing related. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we were still quite close, so it's all right.
I'm so grateful to see everyone here. We've missed you for a whole year, so to come to the Silverstone Grand Prix and have a full crowd like this, you see the energy. And when I was coming into it, I was hopeful that with the great work that we've done together in the team, plus the energy of the fans, would get us there. And so this is down to the fans, I think.
on how much they've won.
He's a GOAT.
He has won more and done more and broken more records. I don't think you can hate on.
I'm not hating on you. I'm just like until he wins his 8th title down. Like, you know what, you've surpassed Michael because you're tied at 7-7. Okay, so let's not put the title of king just yet.
The guy who spoke before Hamilton, I can't remember his name right now. He's 21 years old. He got robbed during the final in Wembley of a £14,000 wristwatch. So he said he was shaken, but now the Silverstone has taken the shake away and he's feeling ready to run now. He's made the podium 3 times at that age already.
You know the thing about F1, Formula 1 racing, you know, usually you have 2 racers represent, will have to step back so the flagship guy
Can make it happen, yeah.
will make it happen. So it's good to see that there's a bit of harmony between those 2 racers, himself and of course his co-racer in terms of Lewis Hamilton as well. So sad that he's lost his...
Even though there's only 1 driver per car, it's still a team sport.
Yeah.
And Mercedes brings together the best team, the best engineers, and best racers, and they win. That's compliments to their efforts.
But not this season.
We don't question the fact that basketball players, in the early days of revolution to the kits that they wear, the shoes that they wear, giving them more jumping power. We didn't question when the very best teams were putting more effort into equipment as much as they were putting into recruitment of players. We don't make the same complaints when we see footballers playing with specialized kits, specialized boots, specialized armbands to help them play at their very best. So I really don't think it matters that in F1, Mercedes brings together the very best teams.
Mercenaries or people who do espionage to actually get to actually go into their opponent's camp to try and get what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing new? What's new? What are the mechanics working on? You know, they all do that. You know,
that is actually. I mean, even it made news even in football with Marcelo Bielsa back when he was in Leeds and I think Derby County or something like that with Lampard. So that's not new. However, just to touch on what he said, right now, I'm not against innovation. Right? I'm not against that. However, let there be innovation with fairness. Now, you spoke about, you see, other sports, unlike F1, is literally about the car, then the driver. It's not, football is about the athlete. Like, yes, of course, there's a rigorous training process. Like, I saw a training video of F1 drivers, what they go through before they get ready for a season. It is not, trust me, driving, you may think it's just, you know, it is very tough because the transmission is on the steering is very, very complicated. And there are many things that goes into play. So I understand how tough that world is. However, there should be a level playing field. That's why they have regulatory bodies. In boxing, you cannot take certain substances so you don't have the advantage. Or you can't say, oh, because I took so-and-so steroids and I'll be able to knock someone out. There has to be, that's why you have VADA testing. So there has to be a regulatory body that says, okay, don't do beyond this or do beyond that. Because if not, you have this monopoly. And I'm actually glad that this season, I can't tell you how happy I am that this season, when I keep seeing Max win, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Because I'm like, I get tired. Like, sometimes I see F1 message, I'm like, oh, he won again. It's like, it's killing my interest in sports.
On to your question about in sport, there's always, we hear about certain people committing infiltration, espionage. Let's not forget, sports is an arena, a mini arena for battle.
True.
It's basically warfare that replaces main warfare for the sake of entertainment and avoiding the loss of lives. And in every war, you invest heavily in scouts. Sure. You put out people who are going to go into your enemy's camp and spy and gain you the advantage, the upper hand. Now, onto what Victor is always on about. You know the thing about winners? They win. That's just what they do. But after a while, fans get bored of seeing them win. And then we start questioning, maybe he's taking something.
Steroids.
Maybe he's got an advantage that others haven't got. F1, I'm sure they have a rigorous regulatory effort.
Process,
a process that tries to make sure the playing field is level. And at the same time, every time someone complains, because when you're doing something in the eye of the public, every time someone complains, they have to take whatever accusation seriously and investigate. Because it's not enough for you to act with dignity and be honest. You have to also be seen being dignified and honest. So I'm pretty sure that every time someone makes these accusations and claims, which are basically allegations with no real substance, because that's really what they are. No one's bringing forth any proof and saying, these guys are using a kind of transmission that is banned
But they
within
are,
the...
there's election. Okay.
If it was banned, they wouldn't be using it.
Okay, so that's the thing. I'm not. First of all, it takes incredible skill. Like I can assure you, if you put any of us in an F1 car from Mercedes-Benz, we will not win the race because we don't know how to. We're not professional drivers. It takes an incredible amount of skill and effort and concentration to drive the way they do. I mean, Lewis Hamilton had been racing since he was a boy. You know, so I'm aware of that. Don't take it away. He's not a king yet, but he's one of the greatest racers of all time. However, for me personally, I just feel like one of the reasons why Michael Schumacher was very loved, unfortunately for his accident, minus even his efforts with charity, was how he was able to organically win races. Like he wasn't his Ferrari was not even only his company he represented at first. He had other companies he won with before he went to Ferrari and had great success, like winning 5 or 4 titles back to back. But we all loved the way it happened. With Lewis, when he first came in, he was a young kid, fresh on the block, had braids then. I remember when Lewis Hamilton came at 19 years old, fresh-faced, British racer, biracial also. So that's just perfect. But it gets to a point, like you've mentioned, it's not that I hate him winning, but when things are evolving from 2011 downwards, you're wondering, okay, why does Mercedes-Benz seem to have this unfair advantage over the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari and the other guys? Alonso is still there, and I think he's retired now, but he was a breath of fresh air when he won, one season between the Lewis Hamilton, dominance. So, but let's see. He's in his home.
Let's see, so we can move forward.
Let's see.
But would you? Let me just ask you one question, and a simple answer, really.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you want to see Lewis Hamilton race to a different car?
With the argument, we made arguments with football. Let's see Messi at what?
Play somewhere else, yeah.
I don't think it's not technically. It's not the same. It's not the same with football. And it's totally different.
Yeah.
Though I'm just saying. So that's for argument's sake, to make it more colorful. It's almost like a fantasy. I would love to see that happen, but the reality is that he doesn't even need to do that anymore. I think he has proven his point where he is at Mercedes-Benz, and I don't think he's just on another 5-year contract early this month. Sorry, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So he's not going to go anywhere. For fantasy's sake, yes, I'd love to see him in a Red Bull car. I would love to see that for just the pure what if. But reality is that he doesn't need to, and it's never going to happen.
A person is tested positive for COVID-19 at the Tokyo Olympics Athletes Village. Organizers said on Saturday today, in the first such case that adds to concerns about infections at the Games, which begin next week. Tokyo 2020 CEO Toshiro Moto confirmed that a visitor from abroad who is involved in organizing the Games had tested positive. He would not reveal the person's nationality, citing privacy concerns. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics, postponed for a year due to the global pandemic, is being held mostly without spectators and under tight quarantine rules. Athletes are just starting to arrive for the Games, which runs July 23rd through August 8th. Japan's public has been lukewarm about the Games and a resurgence in the new coronavirus infections and worries that an influx of foreign visitors may help turn... Okay, now, let's look at this way. We heard that an official in our Nigeria ministry contacted COVID-19. I remember one of the Olympics that I covered at the point. I was still a young reporter. And Blessing Okagbare came out with the relay team and said they were not running. Because they were supposed to get £100 a day and they didn't give them that money. So we had to beg them and all that. They eventually ran. But their concern was that there was a minister who had no business at the Olympics at that point in time, who was owing the hotel £1,200 for watching porn. And you didn't give our athletes their £100 a day. But a minister who had no business there was owing the hotel £1,200 for watching porn. Wow. Now, this guy we hear now had no business being there. He was just an official in the ministry. What are you doing there? Stay at the desk
Sorry,
now.
what year was this?
It was most likely going to be 2012 or 2016.
Yes.
2012, yes.
In this age
that was
of-
London,
In
2012,
this
London
age
Olympics.
of
Yes.
free internet porn.
When I said
Well,
pounds.
okay, first of all, why are we even talking about that? though?
Exactly. Exactly.
My point is.
And then it was a while ago. There was no free internet and all that.
It's
then.
2012.
My,
2012.
my
was not
point,
plenty.
my point is, these guys, they have access to so much resources,
As
so much
in,
funds, that they take it for granted the responsibilities they have to distribute these funds to the right
Avenues.
And when we, in this day and age, and we're still complaining about the team, Nigeria's men are going to the Olympics, they're in Japan without kits, it begs the question, this thing was delayed by a year. So where would we be if this had happened in 2020, if this tournament had still taken place, if this renewed energy to full steam ahead by the Japanese government was in place in 2020 and we were going ahead with the Olympics then. And yet, these are the same people that try to convince us that, the administration, sports is doing better under their administration, under their watch than any other administration in the past. And yet we're still experiencing this kind of, and in 2021, this level of, because social media,
I mean, it's mediocre.
it's so mediocre, the level of embarrassment. You could get away with this in 1982. Even 1990, you could still get
Yeah,
away
you
with
could.
this. Even early 2000s, the scrutiny would be less. And you could, but this generation is more enlightened.
This is the age of information, actually. We are overloaded with information.
How
so
does this happen? How does a minister get COVID-19 and he's still...
So now the question I'm asking is that because before you travel, people that are aware of international travel, you have to have a negative test before you board the plane.
Yeah.
So who did the test? Because when you get to one of the protocols in Japan, and once you get to Tokyo, on arrival you'll be tested
In Japan,
straight up as you're landing, and then throughout your stay, though they won't do the type where you go through your nostril, you will provide DNA.
I think it was when he got to the airport.
that he got it.
So I think he came there with it.
Exactly, but my question is, how did he
So
enter the airplane to get there in the
They didn't
first place?
test him well here in Nigeria. No.
Like,
Okay.
this is
Now,
ju-
this
is
man
just-
is really disappointed, and I can understand why. But let's listen to him first. His name is Usain Bolt. Disappointed with how Jamaican men's sprinting has developed since he retired, and predicts its compatriots will find it tough in Tokyo over his glorious domination of the last 3 Olympics. With Bolt leading the way in his own intimate style, Jamaica win all-time men's track sprint finals in Beijing, London, and Rio, although they later lost their 2008 4x100 meters gold medal after Nesta Carter failed the dope test. While Jamaica's women look very strong going into their Tokyo campaign, triple 100 meters and 200 meters Olympic champion Bolt thinks the men will struggle. Bolt not only inspired Jamaica's Olympic sweep, but also their monopoly of the men's sprint, world title from 2009 to 2015. His training partner, Johan Blake, stepping up to claim 100 meters gold in 2011 when Bolt was disqualified. Blake is now Jamaica's standard bearer in the men's sprint, but will need to improve massively on his season best of 9.95 seconds to even challenge for a medal in the 100 meters in Tokyo.
Well, it's really disappointing to see this. I felt like we had a good crop of athletes for the last couple of Olympics. So for me, it really bothers me to know that this is where we are right now. Most of the world is ahead of us. You understand? So going into the men, it's going to be a tough stuff. So for me, I'm just disappointed. You understand? Because I think we do have the talent. It's just to harvest it and people to take the training seriously and get it done. I think for me, most of the medals will come from the girls for sure, or a jumper. long jumper is looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. But those are mostly on the woman's side, and then on the men, I'm telling you, it's just for me, it's just the jumper that I really can say right now. Other persons, they're doing okay, but they're not at the level which we know that the Olympics will produce.
So Usain Bolt believes that the dominance that he and the Johan Blake and the rest of them had is gone, and that another country will take over the sprints at the Olympics.
True, 110% on that notion. The reality of the matter is this: Usain Bolt burst into the scene. I mean, not many people knew about him. Many people didn't even realize that he was actually at the Athens Olympics in 2004. He came last. People didn't realize that Usain Bolt, he was a very young, skinny, athlete back then. He came last. Of course, fast forward 4 years later, he just burst onto the scene seemingly and dominated, track and field till he retired recently. Now, the reality of the matter is that during his dominance, a certain USA didn't give up. Justin Gatlin was right behind Usain Bolt during that period. Yeah, although he failed 1 or 2 drug tests, he was banned for 2 years, I think. But you see, Team USA, even without the lady that got removed due to the fact that she took marijuana, I've forgotten her name. Yeah, even without her, who was obviously going to win the gold medal at the Olympics, obviously. But for the male and female team, get ready for America's dominance again. Because before Usain Bolt came to the picture, it was Maurice Green.
Yeah.
He was Americans. So for sure, that's going to happen, for sure.
Bolt was an anomaly. And even by Jamaican standards, I mean...
He's the greatest, in fact, he's the greatest of all time.
All the current flock, let's even assume that, okay, Jamaica put together some kind of program that resulted and spit out Usain Bolt, and the expectations was that they were going to continue to breed
more of those
kinds of athletes who were going to likely get better and even break Usain Bolt's records. Which one of them have? I saw Blake run for the first time in 2012, and I knew this guy was a beast.
He was.
But still, he hasn't matched.
Yeah, but Blake was actually still second fiddle to Usain Bolt.
Yes.
When Bolt was there, Blake was always coming second. And this is, don't forget, when Bolt was in his prime, he usually would run and turn back. So imagine if he actually went full speed without even looking back. Because when you're running and you look back, you lose momentum.
Yeah.
In fact, when he takes off, his acceleration is the very first thing you notice. And then when he reaches his peak,
My goodness.
you see a slow down, but his stride is still long.
Very, very long, So he's right. I don't think Jamaica will, I mean, we can't say, but based on the projections, I don't even think any of the countries from that region, in fact, this belongs to USA. Team USA owns this.
In a fantasy world, in a fantastical world, I won't be surprised one day we find out the Jamaicans have some kind of special, as yet undiscovered herb that Usain Bolt was on.
Yeah, right. A special type of...
That's doping now.
No, it's herb.
It's a herb.
Performance
Herb.
enhancements.
No, it's a herb. Don't you get the joke?
If you chop egusi and the egusi gives you superpowers,
that's not anti-doping.
It's not doping.
That's not doping.
And it's only doping.
Performance enhancements now.
No,
It's only
it's a
doping.
herb.
It's only doping.
That
And
has
it's only
thieves.
illegal when the law says this so drug
It's not
is
supposed to be used, yeah.
Okay, we still have a little time on the show, but not too much. And everybody's talking about the transfers and who should go where and who will help which. I will come to the question with my guys. My question would be, who would fit perfectly in a post-COVID team right now and do well? Almost immediately hit the ground running. But everybody's talking about Harry Kane and if he's going to go or not. So Tottenham boss Nuno Espirito Santo insists Harry Kane's our player amid uncertainty surrounding the striker's future. Portuguese described his star man as one of the best players in the world and says he can't wait to work with the England captain ahead of the new campaign. Kane, who has been linked with Manchester City in recent months, is currently enjoying the time off after the Three Lions run to the Euro 2020 final. Speaking at his first press conference as Tottenham head coach, Nuno confirmed that he will talk to the forward when he returns for club duty.
Look, Harry is our player. That's period. No need to talk about anything else. Now is the moment to Harry to recover his energy, to rest. And when Harry comes again, we have time to speak. to have good conversations. But like I said, now is the moment for Harry to rest, to prepare for what's coming. And what's coming is, and I'm looking forward for him to join the group and start working together. I had no doubts in my mind. You know what I mean? I have no doubts. What I wish is to Harry to recover well, to have a good rest, and when he arrives, he will feel that every one of us has to commit themselves to become better. And we are very ambitious. We are ambitious people. We want to do it well, and we count on Harry on that. We've been talking, not on me, Fabio, Steve. We are aware that there's a lot of work to be done. But at the same time, it's a hard work, because to improve our squads, the quality that we have, the talent that we have, it's not easy. And we have to find the right players that can join us and help us. But it's been good work, and on a daily basis, each day we have a moment to speak, to share opinions. Me, Fabio, Steve, they do their job, look at the market, I do my job, training ground. Then you get together ideas and try to find the best decisions. But like I say, to improve our squads, it's not easy. It's been great since we arrived. And hard work, like you say, hard work is all about pre-season, trying to commit everybody, that we have to work really hard, and the boys are being great, fantastic, the attitude, the commitment, and delighted to be here.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but Mukhail, I'll start with you, and I'll tell you why I think I'm laughing. I like the guy's optimism. I like his optimistic. The guy said when the guy resumes for club duty, he will talk with him. I don't even see him resume for club duty. I see him going from home to his new club. Really, what's your take on this one? The guy is very optimistic. He says, don't worry. When the guy resumes, I will talk to him. He might not resume.
Life is only worth a damn if we all have ambitions and hopes and dreams. Nuno certainly has dreams that Harry Kane will return to the club. I have seen reports that say his England teammates believe he's going to refuse to resume at the club. And no matter what Levy says, even if he offers Kane, please stay 1 year, I'll let you go next season. Harry Kane is 28 now, going on 29. He was never a fast player, but we can see that his speed has even reduced, which is why he drops deeper and deeper. And Harry Kane plays so much, his football now is a lot of his football is, I will take the ball from you as a midfielder and I will shield it. And while I'm shielding it, if I manage to get a bit of space and I can look up, then I will send you a pass. Harry Kane is not going to put together a 35, 40 goal season anymore. Not in every competition. Maybe not even 20 goals in the league alone. He's still a fantastic striker, and he's still one of maybe 4 top strikers in the world. But if he doesn't go now, everybody else is looking to Haaland or Mbappe. And Lewandowski is almost done. And Lukaku is already 28, 29. Harry Kane literally is the best option for a lot of clubs, for Man United, for Man City. Heck, if Real Madrid cannot or are unwilling to go for Haaland for 150 million, they'll probably come looking for Harry Kane as well. But Harry Kane doesn't have time on his side, and this is now or never.
Let me try and get where Mukhail is coming from. Let's just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is 28.
Yep.
Going to 29. Hasn't won anything major yet.
Nope.
And he knows time is gone.
Yep.
So he probably wants to be in a club like Chelsea, who are defending champions of Champions League, or go to a Man U who have tendency of getting to someone in Champions League. At least a club that has a tendency of winning something in the next 2 years.
All right. So now, you mentioned something about dreams and hopes and ambitions. Reality of the matter, I see for Nuno Espirito Santo, former Portuguese goalkeeper and coach of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Tottenham is his big money move. This is his biggest club yet, so he's excited. You can see he's very giddy, like, oh boy, I don't have my own. You know, he's very giddy. For Kane, see, if England had won the Euros, at least Kane would say, at least I have a trophy, so I can,
I think
maybe I can stay. But the fact that he did not win Euros, they've not done anything in his club career. I mean, according to him, he has a very bad record. I think he's the only player that has scored over 100 Premier League goals that hasn't won a Premier League title. That is very bad.
Imagine Harry Kane is on a level of Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer and hasn't won anything.
As in,
It boggles the mind, and we will never look back in history and say Harry Kane was better than Wayne Rooney. Not when Wayne Rooney.
Wouldn't it be easy for us to say that if Harry Kane retires today and he doesn't win anything, that would have been a fantastic player walking on the sands of time, leaving no footprints.
True story.
He didn't leave anything.
And then let's even talk about realistic destinations. The truth of the matter, like you mentioned, in the world of football, there are a few strikers, like proper number 9, pure number 9. We don't have, it's a dying breed, unfortunately, the way football is evolving. Haaland, that's why Haaland is making so much news, because he's the only one that is a fresh of breath air from this whole first 9, whatever people are playing these days. Now, Harry Kane's only destination, in my opinion, is just 2 clubs, and you're from Manchester. Number 1 is City, and maybe United, but City is the most realistic destination because they need a striker. And like you mentioned, Harry Kane is in the point in his career whereby he needs...
Yes, I was going to go there because our time is going fast.
Okay.
I was going to ask you guys, which club needs who right now for them to do well? And you just said it would have been fantastic for... We're already gone there.
Yeah.
Man City.
Yes.
They've lost Aguero.
Yeah.
They've only got Gabriel Jesus.
He's not it.
And...
That's the only pure striker they have there. There's no other person.
So if Harry Kane goes there, that will be a plus.
He will be the main guy, yes.
In fact, what's interesting is that Man City are willing to let Sterling, even Gabriel Jesus, leave in order to fund a transfer for Harry Kane.
In fact, it's not just only Harry Kane, they want to also get Jack Grealish. So imagine if De Bruyne, of course, that's the thing, if De Bruyne is just feeding passes to Harry Kane, that guy will score 30 goals standard for City next year if he's there. And he will get, like you mentioned, even if they don't win the Premier League,
he'll get double-digit assist figures.
He will win the EFL Cup at least. That's for sure.
Let's go to Chelsea now at this point. I'll come to Man U later. I will look as if... quickly, okay, out of time. Okay, but quickly, Chelsea, does Erling Haaland need to go?
Does what?
Does Erling Haaland need to come to Chelsea?
Yes, he does, actually, to be honest. I'm not going to use my bias. Haaland needs to be at Chelsea because, forget Werner, Giroud has gone to Milan now.
Hakim Ziyech?
Please, really?
Christian Pulisic?
Are you kidding me right now?
They
might as well put Alexis Iwobi there. My point is they need...
Griezmann is on sale, by the way.
Is he?
Up for
he's
sale.
up for sale, but who's going
to
win? Exactly.
And the guy is collecting 600k, and I heard Messi
has
has just agreed a deal
50.
that cuts 50% of his wages. So there's no way Barcelona are going to keep a player that's earning more than
their
Messi.
star player. He's going to go.
It's not possible.
I think a loan deal will be more viable.
They're talking about a swap deal for Saul from Atletico Madrid, which is sort of a win-win for
Is
both
it though?
clubs.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Victor Godfrey, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
As usual. Mukhail, Tinubu, thank you very much.
Always happy to.
Join us same time next week, Plus Sports Special on Plus TV Africa. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.